On the 18th of March, 2026, Israeli warplanes struck the South Pars gas field. Not a military base. Not a missile site. Not a nuclear facility. A gas field. The largest natural gas reserve on the planet. And within 6 hours, Iran hit back. Not at Israel. At Qatar. The single largest LNG facility on Earth, the one that powers European homes, heats Asian cities, and feeds fertilizer factories that grow food for billions of people, was on fire. Both ends of the same underground gas reservoir. Hit on the same day. By opposite sides of the same war. Then came the moment that stunned every diplomat and analyst watching. President Trump, the man running this war, posted on Truth Social that the United States knew nothing about the Israeli attack. The same attack that 3 Israeli officials confirmed Washington approved. Over the next 15 minutes, I am going to break down exactly what happened. Why this single day of strikes is the most dangerous escalation in this war. What it means for your gas prices right now. And why the question nobody in Washington can honestly answer today is not who is winning but whether anyone left standing has a plan for how this ends. To understand why Israel bombed the world's largest gas field, you have to understand what happened in the 48 hours before the first plane took off. On the night of March 16 into the 17th, Israeli jets carried out a precision assassination in the outskirts of Tehran. The target was Ali Larijani. Larijani was 67 years old. He was the secretary of Iran's Supreme National Security Council. And after Supreme Leader Khamenei was assassinated on the opening day of this war on February 28, Larijani had effectively become the most powerful person inside the Islamic Republic. Multiple newspapers, Haaretz, The Australian, The New York Times, all described him as Iran's de facto leader. He was a former nuclear negotiator. A former Speaker of Parliament. A man who had studied philosophy at the University of Tehran. His family was described by Time magazine as the Kennedys of Iran. More importantly for this story, he was the one man inside Iran with enough institutional relationships, across the military, the clerics, and the civilian government, to negotiate a ceasefire. Israel killed him alongside his son Morteza, the head of his office Alireza Bayat, and several of his guards. In the same overnight operation, Israel also killed Brigadier General Golanreza Soleimani, the commander of the Basij paramilitary force, and the majority of the Basij leadership in a single strike. Iran's new supreme leader, Mojtaba Khamenei, the son of the assassinated Ali Khamenei, issued a public statement that same day. Every drop of spilled blood comes at a price. The criminal murderers of these martyrs will soon have to pay it. That was not a eulogy. That was a targeting order wrapped in religious language. Then, less than 24 hours later, while tens of thousands of Iranians were still in the streets for Larijani's funeral procession, Israel struck again. Intelligence Minister Esmail Katib killed. Precision airstrike. Tehran. 3 senior assassinations in 48 hours. Israeli Defense Minister Israel Katz then released a statement that needs to be heard clearly. Israel's policy is clear and unequivocal. No one in Iran has immunity and everyone is a target. That is not a military strategy. That is a declaration with no endpoint. March 18, Israeli warplanes hit the South Pars gas field in Bushehr province, Iran. South Pars is not just Iran's largest gas field. It is part of the world's largest natural gas reserve, a single underground formation shared with Qatar, where the Qatari side is called the North Field. Iran extracts from the north side. Qatar extracts from the south side. They share the same underground reservoir beneath the Persian Gulf. South Pars supplies roughly 70 to 75% of Iran's total domestic gas output. It powers Iranian homes and factories. It generates Iran's electricity. When it goes dark, Baghdad's lights go out because Iran supplies between 30 and 40% of Iraq's electricity through gas pipelines connected directly to South Pars. When Israel hit the Iranian extraction point on March 18, Iranian gas flows to Iraq were cut off that same night, and Iran's response came within hours. Iran did not aim at Israel first. Iran aimed at the economy. Qatar, Saudi Arabia, UAE, Kuwait, Saudi Arabia again. 5 countries hit in a single day. Ras Laffan in Qatar, the processing point for the North Field, the same underground reservoir Israel had just bombed from the Iranian side, took 5 Iranian ballistic missiles. Qatar intercepted 4. The 5th hit. Qatar Energy confirmed fires and what it called extensive damage. This was not a coincidence in targeting. This was a message. You bombed our end of the field. We bombed your end. Qatar condemned both strikes. That is the position Qatar now occupies, its shared gas deposit damaged by Israel, its security partner, and its processing facility destroyed by Iran, the neighbor it shares the field with. No country in this war has been put in a worse energy position by a single day of combat. The UAE shut down the Habshan gas facility and the Bab oil field after debris from intercepted Iranian missiles fell across both sites. Habshan is the starting point of the 248-mile Abu Dhabi crude pipeline running to Fujairah on the coast. That pipeline handles approximately 1.5 million barrels per day. It is the UAE's only export route that bypasses the Strait of Hormuz. When Habshan goes offline, the bypass goes with it. Iran also struck Saudi Arabia's eastern province and attempted to hit the port of Yanbu on the Red Sea, the kingdom's backup export route. Saudi Arabia then issued its own statement, reserving what it called the right to take military action if deemed necessary. We are now at a point where Saudi Arabia is threatening military retaliation against Iran. If you want coverage like this every time something major breaks in this war, hit subscribe and ring the bell right now. No fluff, no politics, just the timeline, the facts, and what it actually means. Back to it. Now here is the part of this story that explains something much bigger than one gas field. Hours after the South Pars strike, as Iran was still firing missiles at Qatar, Trump posted on Truth Social. He said Israel, out of anger for what has taken place in the Middle East, has violently lashed out at a major facility known as the South Pars gas field in Iran. He said the United States knew nothing about this particular attack, and that Qatar was in no way, shape, or form involved with it. Then he added no more attacks will be made by Israel pertaining to this extremely important and valuable South Pars field, unless Iran unwisely decides to attack Qatar, in which instance the United States of America, with or without the help or consent of Israel, will massively blow up the entirety of the South Pars gas field at an amount of strength and power that Iran has never seen or witnessed before. Read that carefully. In a single post, Trump said three things that cannot all be true simultaneously. 1. The United States knew nothing about the strike. 2. Trump is now managing whether Israel can strike again. 3. Trump is threatening to personally order the destruction of the same field he just said he knew nothing about. While Trump was posting that the United States knew nothing, 3 senior Israeli officials were simultaneously briefing reporters that the attack was fully coordinated with Washington. A United States official told CNN the United States was aware of the strike. Trump's own special envoy Steve Witkoff told Gulf countries that Washington was informed in advance. The next day in the Oval Office, Trump said this to reporters. I told him, don't do that, and he won't do that. It's coordinated. But on occasion he'll do something. And if I don't like it, we're not doing that anymore. Coordinated, but independent. He knew, but he didn't. He approved it, but don't do it again. Netanyahu then held his own press conference and closed the loop. President Trump asked us to hold off on future attacks, and we're holding off. One sentence. It confirmed everything. Israel struck. Trump found out. Trump told them to stop. And Netanyahu made sure the world knew who was really setting the agenda.